3 years ago, I was on drugs, in a toxic relationship full of deep hurts and lost, not knowing who to turn to, not knowing who I was. Took more drugs to bandage my deep-rooted problems and scars from past traumas I buried deep down. Too afraid to go out of the house, couldn't go to the shop, didn't want to see anyone. I fear anyone would get a glimpse of how far down I had gotten in life. I remember someone saying to me, going to God saved my life. So I wanted to go to church. Couldn't pluck up the courage to go myself. Anyone I asked let me down. So I watched sermons on Sky TV instead. I'm thinking, I need God in my life, but how do I do that? I got a wee testimony booklet and God spoke to me through that. I texted the person of the testimony I had just read there and then. Didn't get a reply. A friend asked me to go along to a mission meeting held in a shed. I thought, what is this? So I went anyway, and the speaker was the person I texted about the testimony I read a few weeks before. I knew there and then God had brought me. I couldn't stop crying. God became very real to me that day. God's Spirit was very much alive in me. I asked Jesus into my heart that night, and I remember coming home crying with joy. This is it. I have exactly what I have been searching for all my life without even realising it. He started doing a work in my heart very quickly. God showed me the friends I had were no longer fitting the same way in my life. So I became isolated, but I had God. During that time, He was moulding me into the person God called me to be. It wasn't easy, but it was worth every tear. I left school without any qualifications. I felt stuck in life. I was never going to go anywhere, because when you hear that from people, you yourself start to believe it. I would never drive. I would never be someone, turns out. Turns out God had other plans for me. He moved me into a Christian home to ground me in life, as I was still running back to the old things, as it's all I knew. I was going through changes with God leading me every step. Mindsets began to change as well as heart changes. When I look back, now I cry with joy, with real happiness, to know He loved me enough not to only save my soul from hell, but save my life on earth. He bought me a car, so I started to learn how to drive, passed my theory and practical first go, my first real achievement. Thanking God the whole way home filled my heart with love. Currently I'm doing a course at college that will give me equivalent to 3 A levels. Also waiting for my enhanced checks to get into work. God can make something out of nothing. He can heal the broken-hearted and bind up their wounds. He can restore unto you what the locust has eaten. It's not easy being in transformation with God, but I promise you this, it's worth it. No matter what you're going through, He is the miracle worker. He can work all things together for good for those who love Him and are called according to His purpose. I once was lost in the pits of despair. Now I am a child of God, found and free. I would encourage anyone to ask Jesus into your heart and taste and see that the Lord is good. What He has done for me, He can do for you. Amen.
Amen. Praise God.